Morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday.
For sure. You look pretty. You're all done up.
I'm gonna head to church after this, actually. For
Okay.
the first time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm super excited.
Nice.
Yeah. Are you East Coast?
No, I'm West Coast. I'm in Lake Stevens.
You are. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. I'm in
Where are you at?
California, so we're in the same.
Okay.
We're in the same time zone.
Yeah, I had to set my alarm this morning and get up and do my exercise early, which usually I just wake up. Like I don't usually have to do that, but I thought I better. Otherwise I'm gonna miss everything that I planned on doing today. Treadmill, grocery list, phone call, surfing.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
That's a great list of
all the things at once, right?
Yep. I know how that goes.
Texting my grocery list to my husband right now. He's like, we'll go in the morning. I go, yeah, that's not going to work for me because I'm going to be on the treadmill and I got a coaching call and then I have a toes appointment at 10. So like, you're just going to have to go. He's like, it's Father's Day. Yep. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's awesome. Let's see here. I lived in Seattle for a couple years. I love it up. It's so pretty up there.
It is. But Northern California is pretty amazing too. I mean,
yes, absolutely. Northern California is we get voted the most beautiful county in the country every year. So that's not a bad thing.
No,
morning,
not
Christy.
At all.
Hi.
Morning, Erin. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. Everybody in my house is still sleeping.
Yes. You're like, that's a win.
I know. I've just been wasting. I did a little bit of productive things, but I've pretty much just been wasting time, which is kind of nice.
Oh, it feels amazing.
Super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's super nice.
Yeah.
This is like the best view of me. Like, if I had a stand for my phone up here, that would be better. Hey, look at that wall. See that? Oops. Behind me?
Super organized.
Yeah, my husband built me a wall finally for all my hiking gear and all of our sports gear. We're like half done with it.
Cool. Amazing.
Just in case I didn't need more hiking gear, I just ordered a baby carrying pack. I've been holding off, and now I finally pulled the trigger, and so it should get here on Wednesday.
Fun.
Yeah. That's
Well,
awesome.
if you need to go try it out, let me know.
I will.
New toys.
I'm excited about it. And I got the women's one because there's two. I mean, like, there's probably 20 million, but like of the brand that I wanted to get, they had a female fit, pack, and then they had one for, like, I guess unisex, and that was the big thing holding me back from making the decision. And I talked to Josh about it, and I said, you know what, I bet the female one will fit you too, so we're gonna go with that one.
It will, and you're gonna use it 90% more than he does. So
right. And I'm like, so when I get tired of carrying Georgia and we switch it to you, it's still gonna fit you.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe not the other way around. Well, Sandy, I've got to tell you, the first self-care Sunday that you did a couple of weeks ago, I have heard so many people use those things that they learned over and over again since then. So I'm so glad that you're back for today. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to you. So thank you for your time this morning. You are a wealth of knowledge.
You're sweet. You're sweet. Welcome everybody who is here now and who will watch this in the future. I am going to talk about two super common things that are kind of slung around: plantar fasciitis and tight calves. And so I'm going to start with tight calves because a lot of people say, oh, my calves are always tight. And even though I'm specifically going to talk about calves today, it is Oh, Christy, oh, it is recording. I was like, oh no, I'm not recording. And I forgot, I'm not recording, you are. Okay, so even though I'm gonna talk specifically about tight calves, this can apply to anything that people have tight. A lot of people always say, oh, I'm not flexible. I'm often tight. My hamstrings are tight. My back is always tight. My neck is always tight. Well, I wanna speak to why your body has tightness. So I'm going to talk about tightness first. Again, specifically, not necessarily just for the calves, that'll be my focus. And then we'll talk about plantar fasciitis. So tightness. Your body is tight for one of two reasons, and that's it. One, you have a lack of stability, or two, there is a genuine lack of mobility. Okay, those are the only two reasons, I guess maybe surgical, but we're gonna exclude that. Those are the two reasons that your body either gets tight or stays tight. So if there's either a lack of stability, because if a body part is not stable, it will not be mobile. And if it is stable and it won't move, then it is just genuinely tight. Okay, so we'll talk about those two things. So if you have tight calves and you chronically have tight calves, then I challenge you to one thing. First, if you already have stretched those things out, because a lot of people will say, I stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch, nothing ever happens, then it's a stability thing. So then my challenge to you, for you to figure out if you are either lacking stability or lacking mobility, is that you go give yourself a 30-day challenge that you're gonna stretch your calves out for 3 minutes every day. And if you stretch out your calves for 3 minutes every day, however you wanted to do that, and I can show you a simple basic runner stretch to do that. If you do not increase like the mobility of your ankle, then it's a stability issue. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's my 30-day challenge. If you have tight calves, stretch those suckers out every day for 30 days. If you are still feeling tightness in your calves, then it doesn't have anything to do with the tissue, then it's unstable. The musculature around that area is just not stable. And then you need to strengthen it. So if there's if there's questions about that, I can answer those. Otherwise, I'll move on to what it means to actually stabilize that area.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think that like originally I would say it's unstable, which to me just means like I don't have enough strength. And it's like my right side, so it's like my low back down to my hamstring and the inside of my calf. So I'm guessing it's stability. I mean, I don't stretch enough either, but whatever. So as long as you tell me about stability and how I fix that aside from what I'm doing right now, because then it hurts to fix it, right? Like then it's like the one muscle in there is constantly inflamed and irritated.
Yeah. Well, you said, I'll dive a little bit deeper. You said that there's a line, there's an area from your back all the way down to your foot. So that's a fascial line. I actually have the book here. I don't know if anybody is. This guy, he writes, there's these fascial lines all throughout the body. And there's one specific line that runs from the low back all the way down. And so this is fascia. I'll go on a little tangent here. So one of the reasons that you can be tight is because of fascia. Fascia is a connective tissue. It's all throughout your body. It covers all of your organs. It's between your muscles. It is beneath your skin and your muscles. And it's like saran wrap. It's like a saran wrap that covers everything. And if it gets tight, and it's all connected, if you like dissections, this guy, his name is Thomas Myers. I don't know if this is, anyways, Thomas Myers Anatomy Trains. He does these awesome live dissections. They're on YouTube, and he connects fascia from like, he dissects them out of dead people, from like the head all the way down to the foot. And it's just one solid piece of tissue. It's really awesome. I'm off on a little tangent, but it's super important because you can, you need to stretch fascia a little bit differently than you stretch muscle tissue. So, but that's
So
something different.
before you move on, or
Yeah.
unless you want to circle back, so you said that if you're having tightness, the first thing to try is stretching.
Yes.
And what is the calf stretch that you recommend doing for 3 minutes?
So just a basic like runner stretch. So if you are where you put your arms on a wall or something and you just put one leg behind you and you just stretch out. So if I'm facing this way, so if you are just facing like a wall, you put one leg back and you just lean into that. Does that make sense? Pretty simple, pretty basic. Like you are gonna stretch out your calves. That's what mainly people go to. Does that make sense? Or do you want it better? I can do better.
What if you don't feel anything doing that?
So if you don't feel anything doing that, then you can try a fascial stretch. That's what we can do with like that butter knife and the coconut oil. We can do that now too.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so this is one of the ways that if you go into that stretch and you don't feel it, it still can be fascia. So I asked to have a butter knife and some coconut oil. So if you have that, great. So this is a fancy version of the butter knife, but if you just use the handle of a butter knife at home, that's all you really need to do. So if you take some coconut oil, and let me move this setup so you guys can see. So you're gonna just take a bunch of coconut oil and rub it all over your calf. You guys see my foot okay? Okay, so once you have that coconut all over, you're gonna take that handle of that butter knife. So we're gonna address the tissue on the back of the leg here. You're gonna take that butter knife and you're literally going to just scrape.
Sandi, do we have to be applying like body weight pressure on our foot like you are, or can you have your foot propped up?
You can have your foot propped up. I'm doing this. This is kind of the easiest way that I can do it.
Okay.
However, I'll show you one of two ways. Now, if your foot is just kind of propped up, you can easily just scrape. So you want to take your finger, put it on the handle. Make sure you're not grabbing like the serrated type, the serrated part. And you're going to, you can do one of two things. So if you put that at a 40 or at a 90-degree angle to the skin, it's going to go deeper. If you turn that to like 45 degrees, it's going to be a little bit more superficial. That's what I'm looking for. Does that make sense? And you're going to scrape. And you're probably going to find that certain parts of that are tighter than others. So when you find a spot that's a little tight, avoid bony things. Like I don't want you to go hard on a bone, but all this tissue, all this meat right here is all fair game.
Does it matter if your toe is flexed or not?
It does not matter, but if you are in a relaxed position and you do this, you automatically go a little bit deeper.
Hey, Sandi, I've got a quick question because the last time you did this, I was using my butter knife, and remember it had sort of a wide and uneven surface. I can't find a butter knife that's like that, but I found this fork.
Oh yeah, yep, exactly. That's perfect.
Okay. Okay.
That's totally okay. Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to find something that wasn't too thin, but wasn't too contoured. So yeah. I found this.
So yeah, that's totally okay. So if you are in this position if you are like I am and you're putting some pressure on that, you can actually go through a little bit of a range of motion, like I'm rocking into it. And you'll notice that in that tighter, in the end of that range of motion, it will feel a little bit more uncomfortable at the back of your calf, and that's okay. So you can go all over the whole back of that calf. So I like this for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. If it starts to turn blood red, stop. You've gone too far. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a general scraping all over the area where the fascia is the thickest.
So, Sandy, this is essentially Graftoning yourself at home, right?
You are Graftoning yourself at home.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah, have you had Grafton done before? Do you do it? Are you a PT?
I'm not a PT, but because I have a hypermobility connective tissue disorder, stretching doesn't work for me a lot of times.
Yeah.
So anytime I've had surgery or anything and I have things that are tight and won't loosen up, I get Graftoning done by my PT.
Yeah. So, perfectly honest, Grafton is not this like earth-shattering thing. Like you can do it to yourself. And that's one of the proponents that I have always tried to do, is that most things people can do to themselves at home. So that same thing that you just did to your leg, you can do anywhere.
Yeah, like when I had tendonitis in my elbow, you go in and they do that right there on the front of your arm, like real hard.
Yeah.
Like real hard.
So, and you know what? It probably didn't need to be that hard. Most, I would say probably half of the PTs that do Grafton do it wrong. They use way too much pressure.
Oh yeah, like I would have bruises for days. I would get bruises from it every time.
That's not, to me, that taps into a different philosophy of treatment of like, if it doesn't hurt, it's not helping. And obviously that's not cool.
No,
What
mine
about the skin?
would turn red in some areas and not others. So she would always say that the areas where it turned red, that's where it needed it the most. Like she could tell, she would call it angry, right? It's angry right there.
Yes, angry red.
Yeah, because that's what it needed. I didn't ever get bruises, so.
Yeah, and that's good. So she probably knew what she was doing, which is great. Because a lot of people want that bruising. It's like a rite of passage or something. So if you ever go to your PT and they bruise you from Grafton, move on.
I have pebbles in my leg.
You what?
I have pebbles in my leg.
Yeah, and that is not normal. That is not normal. So if you have gravel or pebbles underneath your skin, that you can Grafton that for quite a bit of time.
So,
Yeah.
Christy, the very first time I had knee surgery and I had PT and I had never done it before, the lady was like, "You have rocks in your legs."
Well, what about the shins? Can we do this on our shins? It seems
Yes,
like it would.
absolutely. The only thing is you do not want to make direct contact with any of those bones, like that hard, long shin bone. You want to avoid that. But if you feel with your hand,
Hey, Logan.
if you feel with your hand and go just on the side of those bones, that's totally okay. Any soft tissue of your body. So calves, your quads, and any of that is fair game. Fair game.
So if you have rocks under your skin, like Christy does, and you do this, then that makes it go away after X number of time, yes? And it's all better?
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And you're going to go through, so everybody's kind of on a different part of their calf, and that's totally okay. Anything from the very, very base, anything from the, no, that's not going to look, I have the bones here. So this is your bones. This is his backside. This is the back of the knee to the heel. Anywhere in there, all the way up. You can even go all the way up to the back of the knee. You can even do this if you think about those Thomas Myers and that fascial line. You can scrape that entire fascial line. Oh, this is, yeah, so any of that is good. How are you guys feeling about that? Are you
I don't get
feeling?
pain in my calves, but my shins are killing me.
Yeah, so your body is going to tell you where you need this. So if that's your shin, by all means, go for it. You'll find some spots probably on the top of your foot too that need it also. Okay, so
Same with like my buns, like my massage therapist, whatever is like right here in the middle of your bun, that's maybe starts with a P or something.
your
It's a muscle.
piriformis.
Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
could barely even touch mine and I'm ready to cry on both sides.
Yeah, that's
it's like super bad.
The last self-care Sunday was it the last one?
Yeah.
It was the last one. That was the yeah, I talked about a stretch for that one. Piriformis is a powerful muscle. It's up there with my favorite muscles in the body.
I will look up because they're all recorded, right? And then you put them out there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Someone's awake. Good morning, Georgia. Okay, so a quick overcap. So if you have tightness in your calves, this is definitely one. Even if you stretch and stretch and you don't go anywhere, this is another way to try to release some of the soft tissue. And a good stretch, if you can get one, is another good one. So I definitely want to talk about plantar fasciitis real quick. Well, actually, while I talk, if you guys do the same thing to the bottom of your foot. So I'll give you something to do. So put some coconut oil on the bottom of your foot and do the same. You can do the same type of scraping to the very, very, very bottom of the foot.
Cindy,
So I have a question.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead, Karen, you first.
Sorry. So like I always turn red. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So how often should I be doing this?
Yeah, so that light, it does get angry red for sure. That's a sign that you should, start to ease off. But if it returns to a normal color in about 20 to 40 minutes, then you can repeat the same thing again the next day. So you definitely can do this daily as long as that red angry goes away within an hour, because then you didn't get a huge amount of tissue disruption. And if you didn't get a lot of tissue disruption, then the body's natural inflammatory process, which is actually good in this case, we do want a little bit of inflammation, then your body can clear that. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Great question.
This,
Particularly from somebody with fascinating experience, which is good.
this right below the bone
Yeah.
in that soft spot is like death, like fire.
Yes. So that is a muscle called posterior tibialis. And that muscle supports your arch. That muscle goes down and supports the arch of your foot. So that is a good indicator that you need some foot strengthening.
Oh, it hurts like really bad.
Yeah. Yep, there's a really strong fascial connection there between that posterior tibialis and your tibia. That actually, if you take and this is just cruel, unusual punishment, but if you take the end of that butter knife and get in there and go kind of like that, that makes sense? You are getting right in between the crevice, between that muscle. I know. It's just an unnecessary evil. Yeah.
That guy hates me.
That guy hates a lot of people. Yeah. Well, along those lines, I might, yeah, so if you guys want to scrape the bottom of your foot, I'll give you my spiel on plantar fasciitis. First, unless anybody has any other questions about this particular, anything that we've talked about so far.
Am I doing this right, Sandy?
Yes, you are. You can.
How quickly would we?
Yeah, hold on. So you're going top down right now, Kristen. You can also switch and go bottom up. Yep.
Okay.
Kind of go in both directions.
How quickly would we feel results? I swear it feels like my shin is no longer hurting. Is that even possible? Is it in my mind?
Absolutely. No, it's absolutely possible. The cool thing about this is there is an initial fascial release that occurs after you do the Graston. And you might feel that initial give, which is awesome. So the best thing to do like Graston is a stretch to the area, whatever area it was that you were just doing. You get a nice stretch through that area. Then what it does is, Christy was talking about the bumps, the gravel. If you get a nice stretch after that, it helps just lay that fascial system down. It just helps kind of iron it out, if you will. If all those bumps were there and then you scraped it and broke it all up, then when you stretch, it helps all those fibers lay down. I talk about the fascial system like pickup sticks. You know the game pickup sticks, where you throw all those sticks down and they're all kind of a mangled mess. What the Grafton does is it shakes all those sticks up. You throw them down, you Grafton them, shakes them all up. Then when you stretch, it just lays them all nice in a nice order, and that feels, when the fascial system is sitting and functioning the way that it should, a lot of things feel better. A lot of things feel better. So, okay, my 2 cents on plantar fasciitis. We went deeper into the tight calves, which is great. And I'll probably, my next self-care Sunday, whenever that is, I'll delve farther into plantar fasciitis. This is my, I'm on a quest to free the feet of the world from unnecessary orthotics, that people are throwing their money into these orthotics. If people have plantar fasciitis, which means the plantar fascia of the bottom of the foot, and I actually have a quick picture. I'm gonna, oh, I can't share my screen. Anyways, the plantar fascia is on the very, very bottom of the foot, and it is a thick fibrous tissue. The fascia is all over the body, but the fascia of the bottom of the foot is exceptionally thick, and it's really a cool mechanism of how it functions. But we will get pain in that plantar fascia. Itis just means inflammation. Oh, thanks, Christy. Here. So the plantar fascia, I think I can do this relatively quickly. I just want you to see a picture of it. You see how this white tissue here at the very, very bottom of the foot, this is what the plantar fascia looks like. So it attaches to the to your heel and then goes all the way to the base of your toes, like the exposed part of your toes. So this white tissue is called fascia. And that fascia is designed to support your weight with all of your muscles. So if your muscles, Christy, like that posterior tibialis that supports your arch, if those muscles are not strong or not active, then all of that weight goes to that plantar fascia and it gets inflamed and irritated. So everybody wants to wear good supporting shoes, or they fear wearing their flip-flops because then their feet are going to hurt. Those are 2 signs that you have weak feet, that the musculature of your foot is not strong enough to support you. We poo-poo flat shoes are not good supporting shoes, and that's wrong. We should be able to wear a NADA supported shoe without any problem. So that's my 2 cents. And I happen to have a foot fixer program that helps conquer all of these things in and amongst our feet.
So Sandy, I have one quick question about that.
Yes, please.
Because I have pronation problems, so I have to get shoes that are made for pronation.
So
Is that
why do you think you have pronation problems?
because I have loose ligaments?
Okay. So if even in your situation, if the foot, if the musculature is strong enough, you shouldn't need, even with the laxity, like people with different syndromes and issues, even with that laxity, though the musculature, it can be strengthened to support the foot correctly. And even if you do pronate, and even if that foot drops a little bit, it's actually not bad. And for some reason, we've put into our brains that is, and does it affect mechanics? It affects the back, it affects the knee. Absolutely, I will not dispute that. But you can strengthen that so that it supports you. It doesn't have to come from an external surface.
Because my stabilizer muscles on the sides of my legs get really sore if I don't wear shoes right now that are for pronation.
Yes, and that's because the opposing musculature is probably not strong enough to support what you're asking for them. And I would not say go cold turkey and take out orthotics and don't wear those, but there's definitely a weaning process that I've seen it multiple times over. I've got a lot of laxity, Airless, I don't know if you've heard of Airless Daniels, but
that's what I have.
Ah, perfect. So
I have EDS.
I've had lots of people with ED that have strengthened their feet and they're back to running without all of the mad mechanisms to support their foot. Yeah, ED doesn't have to be like an end all. It's just how you stabilize moving forward. So another 2 cents. Maybe that's 10 cents.
So if it's
go ahead.
If it's just the heel of my foot that's hurting, am I still scraping the entire foot, or do I just focus on the heel?
Nope, still, you can scrape the whole thing, because where it's attaching is just where it's painful, likely just at the attachment of that tissue, but you still want to cover that whole tissue. Yeah.
So I was going to say, many moons ago, I was in Vegas and we walked for like 8 miles in, Target brand $4 flip-flops because we were drinking. And I like stretched all the ligaments or tore them or did something. When I finally went to the doctor, they're like, you're SOL. You can't really do anything to fix that except a few exercises. Like when I got up in the morning, I couldn't walk. Like they pushed me around in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk at all. Like that's for the rest of my vacation. That's how bad it was. So I struggle with shoes. I can't wear the same pair of shoes more than 3 days in a row without my feet hurting really bad, like 20 something years later.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your foot thing will help.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you just need the right thing specifically for you. So in my program, we go through an assessment, like you get evaluated to figure out what's wrong with you specifically. And that sounds like bad, but it's not like not a one size fits all program. Like the program molds to you. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody have any other things?
I have one.
Yes.
Does it make sense to do this before I exercise or when I'm done?
This specific scraping, I would do before.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. This is a good crew. Good questions.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah. And I did put for Fit Me, there's a little coupon code in the Fit Me page somewhere. And I can repost that if anybody is interested.
Repost it with the link to your foot program. Because I feel like a lot of people right now have goals that are either lots of steps or running or whatever. And so if you're going to do all of this work with your feet, then your feet probably should be strong. And I'm super needing something because my left did not feel anything like my right.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So-
that's common.
Can I have one other question?
Sure. Ann.
So I've had, even though I have EDS before I knew I had it, I've done a lot of running. Like I've run 5 half marathons and things like that. And I get pain in my ankle a lot. And so Tori, I would always get, regular massages from Tori. And she was like, well, your foot doesn't feel like it's moving normally. And so I went and had it looked at, and I was told the bones in my foot were starting to fuse from wearing shoes all the time.
How was that determined? Was that determined by X-ray, or was that determined by?
It was by feel and by trying to move the.
Who was it?
Huh?
Who was it?
It was a orthopedic doctor.
In your area?
Yeah.
Who was it?
I'm
I
not
used to
telling
work
you
there.
that.
Oh, you can't tell me that? Okay. That's okay. That's totally okay.
I just want to know if that's like real or if there's something.
Yes. There's something called ankylosing spondylitis, and it can occur, but it takes a lot to diagnose that. So I always say unless you have an X-ray, and actually Christy can speak to this recently, unless there's an X-ray that shows why there is not an anatomical movement happening, unless there's an X-ray that shows that, I would still try, to be perfectly honest. There is a lot to feel. I totally, there's some orthopedic surgeons in your area that I am not a huge fan of. I'll just put it out there, and and maybe we can have a private conversation. It doesn't.
I'm the same way. No, I'm the same way, and that's why I wanted to ask you. There are some people that I won't go back to. Like I know what's wrong with me, and they try to be like, I need to do exploratory surgery, and I'm like, no, you don't.
No, particularly with airless stenosis, like you don't go in to look at that, because it's all that's going to happen is you're going to lay down an insane amount of scar tissue. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, Erin, I have what Sandy was talking about is I just saw my ortho this week for some injections for my knees, and I was like, am I ever going to be able to bend my knee again all the way? I've been working on my range of motion, and he pulls up my X-ray, and there's this huge knob of new bone on the back of my knee, like on the back of my, I guess my tibia, like the chunk of that sits on the top like this. I have like a big bony extra there now. And he was like, you literally can't close this joint.
Yeah.
Is that just a bone spur that happened from?
Yeah, he said that when your joint is damaged, your bones will actually widen and expand to absorb like force, and so your body just starts to adapt, I guess. I don't know, Sandy, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, the body, particularly the osseous, the bony stuff, is super adjustable. I mean, you can see like when people get Osgood-Schlatters and they get that big bump on their knee, like the bony system is always willing to adapt and change. That's why I'm like, unless you have like that, unless you have like a Christy experience and you have the visual explanation for fusing, because you obviously can totally see fusing on an X-ray. I don't know. I've seen lots of people where I'm like, where they have said similar things. I'm like, you know what? That's all well and cool. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if we can get that movement. And more often than not, if you ask your body for it, it will give it to you unless there is a true reason. But if you don't know for sure, I would give it a shot. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. This was so
Awesome,
good.
guys. Look at Kristen still going at it. I love it.
Yeah.
Get at all that tissue. Love it.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Be sure to share your link for your foot program.
Okay, yes, I have to. I'm actually late for church. I'm gonna rush out and I will do that. I will post that later today for sure.
Yeah, go to church, post it later. If you guys need it, definitely get it. But thank you, Sandy. You are awesome.
And if you guys have any
Thank you.
other, yeah, my pleasure. And if you guys have questions specifically, or I mean, I'm on the Marco Polo things, and I'm accessible. So if you guys have any questions, you know.
Thank you.
So,
Have a good day at church.
Yay.
see you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Christy.
Bye, Sandy.
Bye.
Bye.